Good morning, good morning, good morning, business owners. It's Leon Street back again, Sunday morning. So in the UK, the clocks have officially gone back 1 hour. So we've got an extra hour in bed. So I'm very grateful for that, actually. I'm well rested and ready to talk about today's topic, which is how to stop unconscious bad habits that limit your business success. And this is going to be a real interesting one. But before we get into any of the main content, remember, as always, if you are not already subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do so, especially if you're already watching on YouTube as this is streaming live. If you're watching me on Facebook, remember to jump over to YouTube and subscribe. You'll be notified well in advance. Plus, there's lots of other great content on the channel. So hit the subscribe button and click on the notification bell to be notified of all my upcoming videos and content that I have just for you business owners looking to go to that next level with somebody who knows where you are and where you're going. So let's move forward then. As I said, today's topic is how to stop unconscious bad habits that limit your business success. And if I'm honest, unconscious bad habits not only limit your business success, they limit your success and I guess fulfillment in life. And today's topic will definitely help you if you are going through some challenges right now. And I've got a nice quote that I want to kick off with, and this will, I guess, set the scene and set the environment of what I want to create for you in you understanding how you can stop these unconscious bad habits. So this is from Dr. Joe Dispenza. So warning, when feelings become the means of thinking, or if we cannot think greater than how we feel, we can never change. To change is to think greater than how we feel. To change is to act greater than the familiar feelings of the memorized self. Because ultimately, and I'll come back to the presentation in a moment, but ultimately feelings are a record of the past. Because as a child, as a baby, even, you learned what feeling good was, you learned what love was, and how you interacted with it and how you responded. And through that, those were habits that you started to kind of create, and you understood what feelings were. But also, in the way that your unconscious mind works is that it creates these memories. And so you have this unconscious bias. Not only do you have these habits, but as part of the habits, you have this unconscious bias towards different things. And it's kind of like your unconscious good, bad, or good versus evil. And it's kind of like your take on it, because everybody's perspective is different, right? Not everybody just thinks, oh, I'm 100% that way or 100% this way. And in business, this is what will ultimately kind of hold you back and limit your success. Good morning, Kohanya. Thanks for jumping on. And what I want to take you through today is just to kind of shed some light onto what you can do with yourself in order to change the success in your business that I guess that you're looking for, that perhaps has eluded you up until now. And I've got a couple of stories I'm going to share with you as I'm going through this. And I've got in particular 4 steps to removing bad habits that I want to take you through. So step 1 is awareness. Now, the first thing to kind of bear in mind is to overcome and break free is to recognize that we have these bad habits in the first place, right? And if you don't have any awareness around the fact that you have bad habits, then you will never get beyond, I guess, probably 50% of where you are right now, because the bad habits will hold you back. And it doesn't matter what you say. And I'm talking from experience here, like when there are things you can't spot and there are things you're not seeing, you'll keep going around in life and living life in that way and in that belief that you think that's how life is. That's how it's always been, type of thing. And what you've got to do is take an outside look at your actions. And I say your actions because your actions are usually what the logical mind is looking for in terms of what results am I getting in my life? What am I experiencing in my life? And so when you take a look at your actions, this will help you to gain perspective on perhaps what good and bad habits you've currently got. And this is probably the most difficult step, but with practice, meditation, and focus, it can be done. And so let me dig into this a little bit more. So I'm speaking this week recently with one of my clients, very successful business owner. He generates something like 300,000 euros a year. And I'm speaking to him, and we're going over our coaching call to discuss some of the results in his marketing. And what I find is that whilst he's a very successful business owner, to some degree, obviously some people who are doing 7 figures or more, may think, oh, he's just on the first steps. But he's been in business, he creates a good profit, and as I said, he's generating over 300,000 euros a year. But as I'm speaking to him, what I find is that he's distracted. And he's distracted because he has multiple businesses, and he's in the process of looking to buy another business worth about 1.1 million euros. And we're talking, and the one thing that as I'm speaking to my clients, I say to him, I'm like, what is it that you get up out of bed in the morning? Like, what is it that gives you purpose in life? Like, what's your vision? Like, where do you want things to be? And as we're speaking, what I understand from him is that whilst he's a success in business, and he's a very capable guy, lots of great skills, is that he doesn't know why he wants to do what he wants to do and what his life is all about beyond the material goals that he has. So for instance, house, car, the kind of lifestyle that he wants to live, like that was the limit of his skill set. And what I haven't told you, and this is really cool, is that I guess by experience and by investment into his education, he's actually a life coach. And so as a life coach, you would expect, and I'm saying this and I'm choosing my words wisely because I want to give you a bit of insight. You would expect somebody who's a life coach to have more awareness around themselves, their vision, and I guess the kind of habits that they have, right? And this is an example that if your awareness is not taken to that next level, you will go around unconsciously pursuing different things, just thinking this is how life is, and I get some good results, but there's a lot of bad stuff, and you'll hit this glass ceiling. So awareness comes in many forms, but it starts there in terms of how you turn those bad habits from bad and replace them with good habits. And I've got a few more stories I'm going to share with you and a few examples, but I just want you to understand that if you are experiencing results in your life that aren't great and they keep happening, or you keep hitting this glass ceiling of success, you never get beyond it, and you want to go to that next level, just know that actually now is probably the first step that you've got to take to go outside of yourself. You've got to look from the outside in on your life. You've got to look at what results, what actions have you been taking, and start to look at it from the perspective of, if you were advising somebody else, a friend, a colleague, another business owner, or even yourself, what would you tell that person to do, and what would you identify as the bad habits? And that's where it comes from in terms of awareness. Like, you need to put yourself in that position. But, and here's the other caveat, sometimes the awareness is going to be triggered by somebody else seeing those things for you. And I'll get onto that in a moment. So hopefully that kind of just kicks off the first step in what you can do to change those bad habits. Because in business, if you walk around with these bad habits, they come to bite you in the ass in different ways, in opportunities that you don't follow through on, opportunities that present themselves that you don't understand, why you can never land deals, around your team, why actually you attract great people, but they end up leaving you quickly, or you attract great people that deceive and do you over, i.e., like they can't be trusted, that type of stuff. And it might actually be habits that you've got that you're unconscious to. And I don't want to get into the other perspective of habits of other people, because that's a whole nother kettle of fish. And the other thing is, the one thing you can control in your life is how you respond, so therefore how you are in this life. And that's what I want to stick with. So number 2, people and environment. So 4 steps to help remove bad habits. This is number 2, people and environment. Who and what you surround yourself with is what will be added to your subconscious. So be picky, be selective with the people you spend time with and put energy into. And I guess over time I've understood this more and more as I've worked on myself, as I've personally developed myself. And I don't know about you guys watching right now, but that's probably the biggest and best investment I've made in my life. And if you've done or taken similar steps, I'm sure do you agree, or do you not agree? But negative people and decisions inspire negative behavior. And this step includes social media, news stories, and everything else. So watch what you're surrounding yourself with and what you're consuming. And, as an example, I stopped watching TV 5 years ago. So, general TV that you get on normal, I guess, TV channels, soap operas, the news, like watching that religiously or thinking that's the key source of information and a trusted source. And the more that I kind of detach myself from, I guess, the programming of television programming, it allowed me to focus on what is it that I wanted to have in my life, what did I want to consume, and therefore changing my internal environment, because your internal environment is obviously what goes on in your head, and your external is what's going on, externally to you, the things you surround yourself, and that includes the people. And so, I've never really got caught up in I need to be with this group of people or that group of people, and therefore that's how I can validate myself, validate my life, and therefore, I'm able to make better decisions about the habits that I have, and therefore the people around me. And this is something that is really, it can be tricky in some situations, and especially if you're around people, I guess people who are toxic people. And they're your family or friends. And what I will say is that it's still a choice to stay in and around those people, and you can change. And I forgot where the quote comes from. It's probably Jim Rohn. You're not a tree, so move, so change. And that's, I guess, that's the best thing to really look at. You can change things. So step 3: habit stacking and replacing habits. So here's what I want you to kind of take on with this one. You have the ability to replace these habits with beneficial ones. It comes down to effort and what you decide to take into your conscious mind. Yeah, because obviously consciously you've got to take this information in, but also subconsciously and unconsciously you're taking stuff in all the time. So replace the feelings associated with them with your vision. Yeah, so replace the feelings of these bad habits that you're associating with them, and replace them with your vision. Do things like meditation, your goals, with knowledge, new skills, and an overall positive outlook. Yeah, because if you get caught up in bad habits, that might end up being like this spiral, this loop of creating more bad habits, or simply just compounding the behavior of bad habits. And in business, it's not a great thing, because these bad habits are simply just going to take away opportunities, distract you, limit you. They're going to create results that you don't want to happen. And, that in its very nature it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. You've got bad habits. You don't want bad habits to take place, but you keep performing these bad habits. So what are you going to attract? Yeah, negative things and bad things. So one of the things that I guess I've come across is you got to use habit stacking to kind of wean yourself off bad things, bad habits. And I'll kind of explain about that, because sometimes you I guess in many respects you'll have these bad habits and you'll think, let me just get rid of them. But as a human being, you don't just get rid of bad habits. It doesn't work like that. You're not like a switch on and off. And don't get me wrong, there's going to be a small percentage of people, very tiny fraction of people who perhaps can do that. They can literally just switch things off. But at the end of the day, even with that, some bad habits are going to creep back in. So one of the things, I guess, in terms of how you can change things, and I'll just jump in a bit more so you can see the bottom of the screen, what I want to share with you, I'll just explain it, is that if you want to replace those bad habits, a good thing to do, and I learned this from a book that I read, I'm going to share the book with you in a moment, is that you start stacking habits, and you stack the good ones, and you use the good ones to reward yourself with your bad habits. And whatever these habits might be, there might be extreme habits, there might be just small things that just keep adding up, and therefore leading you to I guess a place of end results that you don't want to happen, right? So one of the things I've come across is stack your good habits and end with a bad habit as almost like a reward, because what you're doing is tricking yourself, tricking your mind, your subconscious, unconscious mind, tricking the dopamine effect that you get when you fulfill on these bad habits, because you've conditioned yourself that even when bad things happen, subconsciously you enjoy them. Yeah, and it triggers either a rush, adrenaline, dopamine effects. And you might think, wow, really, Leon? Like, yeah, these things happen. So what I do is simply I stack good habits and then I reward myself with a bad habit. A bad habit might be taking time to scroll social media, but taking too much time. It might be, just not performing tasks that are meant to be done. So you got stuff in your calendar and perhaps you've skipped something because you've taken along with something else, like, priority management, time management, that kind of stuff. It could be other things where you've neglected responsibilities or time with certain people. It could be family, it could be your significant other partner, husband, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, that kind of thing. So a good thing to do is stack the good habits and then reward yourself with whatever you have as a bad habit. So it might be you do something good. So you stack like 3 good habits, different things that you've got to do, and then end with the bad habit and wean yourself off. Because what can happen is if you try and just go, cold turkey, the bad habits might actually have a stronger hold on you than you realize. And in the end, you might even move to a place of denial and not knowing why you're in that situation where you've not been able to release or get rid of the bad habit. And you're like, but I'm trying everything. But in actual fact, your subconscious and unconscious mind have really taken control of what you do, which is what controls 95% of your day, right? So let's move forward then. So some books that have helped me, and I'm hoping these books, perhaps provide some extra resource for you. So this one, is probably one of the most popular ones historically over the past maybe 20, 30 years perhaps. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. This is by Stephen Covey. This book I came across and really helped me to understand about priority and time management. Yeah. And I say priority and time management because it's really about priorities. And I took away from it just managing the things that I needed to do. And if I had kind of any room to complain and, kind of moan and groan about the things that are going wrong in my life, then I could start by looking at what am I doing with my time? What am I doing in my life? And the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People gave me that space. And I took away this, I guess, the weekly schedule that Stephen put in his book as an example resource that you can download. And it just gives you the ability to look at what are you doing, week in, week out, because that will give you insight as to what good things you're doing, but what are the things that are taking your time away, or just bad habits you're not seeing. Because, sometimes bad habits might be things that appear to be where you're doing some type of valuable activity, but perhaps, imagine as an example, perhaps you're doing some kind of work and you really enjoy that task, but actually you spend too long on it. You wait for something to be perfect rather than done. And what you'll start to kind of discover about yourself and see is that the bad habit is actually, you not sticking to priorities, sticking to the tasks, sticking to goals, and therefore progressing at the rate that you need to progress, because you're too busy trying to get something perfect that in actual fact didn't need to be perfect, just needed to be done, right? And so these are important books that can help you. So as I said, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Another book, The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. It really digs into your ego. And your ego is obviously the thing that kind of helps to make sense of the world, but mostly protects you and leads you to failure, believe it or not. The more work you do on your ego, the more you understand, what it's really there for, and how you can live your life from a higher perspective rather than just relying on that, which I guess stems mostly from the physical limitations of the human body, and really what it's there for. It's designed to protect you. It's not designed to allow you to excel, believe it or not. Some people might think, well, look at other people who are very successful and they've got this huge ego. Yeah, but you got to look at what's going on behind that. You might even have an unconscious bias towards people's success and their egos, and thinking that's the reason they're a success, but it's not. So another great book, and this one really, this is an interesting one, because I remember having this book, and as I was reading it, I had the book on my kitchen table. I remember my 12-year-old son came in one day and he was like, "Dad, why would you want to change who you are? Breaking the habit of being yourself." And I had to explain to him is that, we're always constantly evolving and changing. Actually, I wasn't trying to change who I was in that sense. It was more about understanding that I wanted to evolve to the next level and go to the next level. And when I broke it down to him and explained, it's like almost being an amateur playing, moving to be a better player. Well, the amateur player you can't go back to when you become better, because you've changed who you are, the habit of who you are. So another great book for you to look at, guys, is The Alter Ego Effect, Todd Herman. This is a real great perspective, because this one tricks you into being awesome. It tricks you into, and I say tricks you, it's about creating more permanent change rather than just a little trick here or there. It allows you to envisage who you are when you're your greatest self, and how to implement strategies and tactics to create, I guess, ways for you to become that person, i.e. the habits, the ownership, the embodiment of the way that you want to be emotionally, mentally, that kind of stuff. And so a really good book as well. And these books are available on Audible. This one, another great book where I got the habit stacking method from, and really understood about what it takes when you compound like good habits in order to produce the results you want. James Clear, Atomic Habits. Go check out these books. And as I said, they're all available on Audible. So if you want to listen to them, what I tend to do as well is whenever I'm consuming new information, I will get the audio book. And if ever there are things that pop out to me on the audio app, you can bookmark specific points and you can add notes in. But then if I really enjoy something, I want to get that information, I usually order the paperback copy. And so it's just a way that I consume information. I'm just sharing that with you because it might be something useful that you can do. And by then getting the paperback, I'm able to highlight, take that information and then implement it into either my own personal habits or into my business if it's more of a business related topic, and then execute on that learning and knowledge. So final book is called Deep Work by Cal Newport. And Deep Work is all about creating habits where you can do things that lead you towards your goals and what it is you want in your life by removing distractions. Yeah. And distractions in your life might be that the bad habits, it could be social media. It could be, overindulgence in TV, in pornography, many different things. And by using some of the techniques and strategies that I've shared with you, I'm sure that you'll be able to start to, at first take the first step of what I shared with you today, which is awareness. So moving on to step 4, how to remove bad habits. Practice, practice, and practice, guys. After you've practiced, then do it all over again. After you've implemented these new things, do it all over again. Your mind is not simple and the process is not easy. And your mind will want to go back to familiar behaviors, because the way you feel about something is to do with your body. It's the human body, because your mind doesn't necessarily feel, your body doesn't. I'm getting a bit technical here, but when you read the book, or you listen to the book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Joe Dispenza, the book I mentioned a moment ago, you start to understand actually, from the research and studies that he's done, how your cells and your body have memory. And so it's not just you're competing against your conscious mind, subconscious and unconscious mind. Actually, your body has memory as well in the cells, and it's been researched, and they've done experiments on this to prove that. So be aware, be selective of what surrounds you, your environment. Remember, replace old habits with new ones, and you can use that habit stacking method in order to not just go cold turkey, but to do it in the right way, and then do it all over again. Because ultimately, guys, and as you're going through life, you're constantly changing, whether you like it or not. That you may have, specifics around your personal reality, i.e. your personality, that kind of stay true. But you just got to be mindful of what it is that you want to carry forward. Are you somebody who just wants to settle for where you are? Are you somebody who wants to go for success, meaning you start from the inside out? Yeah. So if you want your business to be a success, then you've got to change the habits and remove those bad habits as best as possible. So you've got to use the techniques in order to step yourself up into that place where you can go to that next level. So finally, guys, I'll leave you another quote from Joe Dispenza. Really enjoy his books, by the way. He's got a real few great books. And so go check out the one that I mentioned already, and I'm sure you'll see the related books of what he has written and produced. But here it is. If you want a new outcome, you will have to break the habit of being yourself and reinvent a new self. Because remember, in having a bad habit, that's who you are right now. But who you want to change to, once you're aware that you want to change and you want to go to this new space, this new level, then you must reinvent yourself. And the reinvention of yourself is creating these new habits and removing those bad habits, right? so you can implement more good habits around what you want to do. And ultimately, this is where, as a business owner, you need to be. You must reinvent yourself constantly. And so, it's not just the outward things. Oh, you have to learn new skills, new strategies, new tactics with marketing, sales, operations, products, customers, customer management, customer account management, all those types of things. Yeah. It's about reinventing yourself. It's about you going to the next level ultimately, because if you're only ever focused on the externals and not really growing yourself, working on yourself, you will always be limited to the degree that you have capabilities and habits that allow you to achieve the levels of success that you want in your life. So there it is, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this topic today. Remember, if you've enjoyed this content, you like the content, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Visit the link that you see on the screen, which is www.leonstreet.com/YouTube. That will take you to my YouTube channel, where you can subscribe and be notified of all my latest and previous past videos on the topics of marketing, sales, and I guess what it takes just to be a business owner in this day and age, and going through the challenges that we're going through right now. And so, today's topics, especially, in lockdown, let's say you've developed some bad habits and you want to kind of shift them. You want to change your approach to the success that you're looking for and where you want to be in business. That's what those 4 steps and what I've shared with you today are. They will allow you to address the things going on in your life. They will allow you to look at your life in a way that perhaps you thought, this is how my life is and this is how it will always be. But I'm here to tell you that your life is constantly changing, and what you choose to put into it is up to you. Yeah, you don't have to stay fixed. You can change to the degree that you want. And, if there are people that you look up to, and they inspire you, and you think, I'd love to be like them. Well, reinvent yourself to be who you need to be in order to achieve your vision, to achieve your goals. Just go make it happen, guys. So those are my 4 steps of what can help you get started. If you're struggling, if you're challenged right now, or you just need some help, or you need some new direction of where you're going in business, remember to just drop me a message. You can either comment below one of these videos, or you can send me a direct message on Facebook, YouTube, or any other platform. You'll find me. I'm the only one, Leon Street. I would love to help you guys. So on that note, enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I'm going to go and enjoy mine. I've got some things to do. Got to hit the gym. Got some stuff to do with family. Got to put up a bed later on with my son in his room. And I'm going to go and make the most of what I have in front of me. So guys, thanks for watching. Take care. Have a great day. Bye-bye.